There is a chill in the air, and it's officially the holiday season. Every day grows a little bit colder and darker as we approach winter solstice. Let me know in the comments below if it's already cold where you are in the world, or for all my friends tuning in from the Southern Hemisphere, let me know where you're tuning in from. Hello and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I shared 50 free Christmas crochet patterns to make and had a few requests for this one, so I thought I'd share 50 Christmas tree decor crochet patterns. And I'll be breaking all of these up into 4 different categories: ornaments, garlands, tree toppers, and tree skirts. And if you want to check out any of the links to any of these patterns, you can go to the link to my blog, and that'll be in the description below. Most of these patterns are beginner friendly unless I state otherwise, and they're all using US standard. And so in each card, I'll be stating the name of the pattern, the designer, and the yarn that is used. And since a lot of these projects are small, they'll be perfect to all use with scrap yarns. Okay, so now let me share some ornament patterns with you. First is the Gingerbread Ornaments by Yarnspirations. This pattern includes a whole gingerbread family with the lady, man, baby, and gingerbread house. I love how detail oriented this pattern is, and the great thing in this pattern is that it mainly uses the single crochet stitch as well as the single crochet 2 and 3 together. Also, there is some embroidery work for this one using the French stitch and the lazy daisy stitch. And there are quite a few helpful pictures for this one as well. Next is the Ribbon Christmas Tree by Poppy and Bliss. This pattern is created by making a long ribbon for the tree and then making the baubles in spiral rounds. And then you finish it off by sewing the baubles in between the different ribbon layers. This one also uses UK terms and brackets, which is super helpful, and you just need to know the single crochet and half double crochet stitches. And there are helpful pictures on each step of the way, as well as some really detailed sort of sewing diagrams, so don't get scared away by the sewing on this one. If you love tea, you'll like this next one. It's a tea cup ornament by Knits and Stitches. These are quite tiny at only 4 centimeters tall and are made in the round for the cup and the saucer using the double crochet and double crochet 2 together. Then the cup handle is simply 2 rows, so these would work up pretty quickly. These would definitely make a great gift for the tea lover in your life, and you could even put some nice little treats or candies in the little cup as a nice little gift. Next is the Pip the Mouse ornament by Karina Cook. This one gave me a bit of a 'Twas the Night Before Christmas sort of vibe. To make this one, you need to make the head, body, ears, and feet all in the round, which you mainly use a series of single crochet, increase, and decrease stitches for. Then just make the tail and a little scarf. Then you just sew the nose and the eyes on as applique. You could also make candy cane ornaments by Danny Spiegel, and to make these, you just make the candy cane by the row, then stick a pipe cleaner in and bend it in the shape of a candy cane, then stitch it up. Then you can just put a little bow on there and thread a little piece of hanging string and hang it up wherever you'd like, a little candy cane charm. And these would work really nicely as well on a wrapped gift as a little extra ornamentation. Next is the Christmas Sweater Ornament by You Should Craft. To create it, you would work the turtleneck and then the body and sleeves in the round. And this one has a video tutorial, which is super helpful. You could also make the Wreath Ornament by Stitch by Faye. This piece is 2.25 by 2.25 inches or 6 by 6 centimeters. It's made in the round and uses the whip stitch to close it shut. You just need to be comfortable with the single crochet, increase, back loop only, and invisible decrease stitches. And it's just made with a continuous spiral, so no joining the end of each row with that slip stitch. Next is the Snowy Pine Ornaments by the Loopy Lamb. This is actually a piece that is made in the round to cover and hang over the base of a pine cone, which is then glued onto the bottom of that pine cone, and then you add some thread through it, and it's used to hang it up and display on your tree. And I just really liked this one because I love collecting pine cones and just using them for different crafts. And I feel like this is a really nice one to give your tree a woodland kind of vibe. Or you could make the Santa Belt Ornament by Nikki's Homemade Craft. You just need to simply make it in the round and then switch the colors out when making that belt, and then you glue that little topper on to hang it up. And this one's perfect if you have a Santa themed tree. We always had a Santa themed tree in my house growing up, So I thought this one was a cute little ornament idea. You could also make the Crochet Snowflake by Grateful Prayer, Thankful Heart. The great thing about this ornament pattern is that it can be displayed through the Christmas season as well as in January or really all winter long. This piece is worked in the round, and this maker actually used scrap yarn to make this one, so it'd be perfect for all of those scraps. Next is the Snowman Baubles by Hooked On Patterns. This pattern could actually also be displayed through the winter, and for this one, you just make it in the round with the magic ring and then basic stitches to create it. You then embroider the nose and mouth on, and you can use safety eyes for those little eyes, and you create the mini beanie hat and use the invisible stitch to join it. This one would be perfect for using up all those scraps, as it could be used with DK, Aran, or chunky weight yarn to create those different sized baubles. And it also uses 20 yards of white for the head and 10 yards of 2 other colors for the hat. And this one would be perfect to use some little scrap yarns to stuff that head with and just make use of all of those scraps. Or you could make the Crochet Star by Turtle Trunk. This pattern is made in the round as well with basic stitches and mainly uses the single crochet and single crochet 2 together. And these could just be quickly whipped up with any scrap yarn you have lying around, have some fun with the colorway, and create the aesthetic that you'd like for your tree. Next is the Mini Christmas Stocking by Rafa Musa Designs. This project is really whimsical and uses basic stitches as well as the V-stitch to create, which is really cool. It's a nice knit-like looking stitch. It's worked from the toe up in the round, and then the cuff is made by the row, and then it's just slip stitched to the top of that stocking. Next is the Mini Mittens by Blue Star Crochet. This piece is also worked in the round. So first you make the top and then the middle and then the cuff all in the round. And then the thumb is added on afterwards and is worked straight onto just one side of the mitten, mainly using the half double crochet stitch. And the designer actually also suggests working the ends of the yarn into the piece as you go rather than sewing them in at the end, because it gives it a nice grip for this piece. So they have some really great detailed sort of tips for this one, which is cool. You could also make the paw print ornament by Simply Hooked by Janet. This one could be really cute if you have a nice dog themed tree. I love the rustic look of the Lion Brand Heartland yarn that they used here. And there are 2 different sizes. The small is 2.75 by 2.5 inches and the large is 3.25 by 3 inches. The circle of the pattern is worked in the round and then the toes are worked in rows. And then you use your preferred method to stiffen the ornament. Let me know what way you like to stiffen your projects in the comments below so that we can all just trade tips. If you want to see one of my favorite ways to stiffen crochet projects, check out the Crochet Snowflake ornament video in the card above. Next is the Pig ornament by Okie Girl Bling and Things. And to make this one, you work it in the round to make the body and then work the nose in the round as well as the ears and that nice little squiggly tail, mainly using the single crochet and single crochet 2 together. And this one would be perfect for a nice little farm themed tree. And the maker is also releasing a chicken and barn ornament, which would be really cute to make all of those for your tree. You could also make this Christmas classic, the Angel Ornament by Winding Road Crochet. This one uses the magic circle, double crochet, and slip stitch to make the angel torso and wings in the round. Then you make the skirt and add the wood bead as the head to finish it up. And these work up pretty quickly in about 20 or 30 minutes or so. So they're perfect if you want a nice, just quick ornament to whip up. This next one's pretty fun. It's the S'more Ornament by Whistle and Ivy. This one uses the single crochet and single crochet 2 together decrease stitch. You can use up all of those yarn bits to stuff the marshmallow piece with. And this one could also make a nice gift for all your s'more loving friends out there. Or if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll definitely like this next one. It's the Yoda Ornament by Spin a Yarn Crochet. To crochet it, you make 2 panels for the body and then the ears and the inner ears and then the cute little robe along the bottom using the single crochet, increase and decrease stitches and the half double crochet. Then you just simply place in those safety eyes and stitch it all together. And this one would also be perfect to use those little scrap yarns up, stuffing it up, and just make use of them. Continuing on with the wintry theme, you could also make this hot chocolate mug ornament by Ollie Holly. I like the details on this one, such as the whipped cream and the marshmallows. You just need to know basic stitches as well as the increase, decrease, back loop only and front loop only, and front post double crochet to create it. And this one has a really helpful video tutorial as well. This next one is definitely a Christmas classic. It's the Bauble by Thorsby Cottage. These are made in the round, and I love the little gold accents on this one, as well as the zigzag stitching. It uses the single crochet, increase, and decrease stitches. And I really love the look of this one with some nice brown paper present gift wrapping. It just really gives it a nice little charm. This next one also has a classic charm. It's the Christmas Tree Ornament by Dorados. These are quick and easy to whip up, and they just use the single crochet and slip stitch. These would be perfect to use up with all those scrap yarns. And I personally really liked the sequin yarn that they used here. I feel like it could give your tree a nice little sparkle to it. Next is the Jumper Ornament by Blue Star Crochet. This piece is worked from the top down with a round yoke, and the foundation chain forms the neckline. Then it's worked in the rounds with increases that are evenly spaced out, and each round is worked with a single crochet and slip stitch. So it's definitely beginner friendly. So basically these ones are made in the same way you'd make a sweater for yourself, but just the mini version, so it's really cute. You don't want to make this next one while you're hungry. It's the Christmas Pudding by Thorsby Cottage. This one is made in the round as well to make the pudding. Then you make the icing and the cherry in the round, as well as the leaves, and they're made using a half double crochet, and slip stitch. This one is definitely really detailed, and it'd be perfect to stuff with scraps and give as a gift to your friend who loves Christmas pudding. Lastly, for ornaments is the Christmas Bell by Simply Melanie Jane. This one is also made in the round with slip stitch, single crochet, and increase and invisible decrease stitches. The special stitches that you will use are the herringbone, half double crochet, and pineapple cluster stitch. And this is another one where a stiffening method of some kind would definitely help with keeping its shape. And now I'll share some crochet garland patterns that you can use to wrap around your tree and decorate it with. First are the Christmas Lights by Repeat Crafter Me. This piece is another Christmas classic. It's made in the round with the single crochet, decrease, and double crochet stitches. And you could definitely stuff this one with scraps to make use of them. And next is the Chunky Crochet Garland by Delia Creates. I love the puffy stitch definition on this one. It makes a garland that's about 29 feet long, which the designer used to decorate a 7-foot tree. There are a lot of pictures to show how to make it. It's made using the bubble stitch, and you actually need only one skein of yarn to create it. You could also make the Gnome Garland by Golden Lucy Crafts. For this pattern, they made 7 gnomes, and it was enough to make a garland that was 55 inches. To make it, you just need to know basic stitches, and there is a bit of sewing as well. To make it, you create the cap, beard, body, feet, and nose, and sew it all together. Then you embellish the cap with some snowflake buttons or beads, and there's a helpful YouTube video in this one, which is great. Next is the Tree and Star Garland by Knotted Nest. The finished tree is 6 inches tall, and the stars are 3 inches, and the garland is about 6 feet long. Each piece is made of 2 flat panels that are joined together and stuffed. The trees are worked flat in rows, and the stars are worked flat in rounds. And there are helpful pictures for each step of the way with this one. You could also make the Christmas Bunting by Thorsby Cottage. This pattern includes how to make the bunting panels, and then you make the holly, and you can use felt to cut the letters out of using whatever sort of word that you'd like, and you stitch the letters to each of the bunting pieces. I thought that this was such a lovely idea, and the great thing about this one is you can customize it to make whatever word or words that you'd like. Next is the Gingerbread Garland by Golden Lucy Crafts. You just need to know basic stitches, and each heart is 3 inches. Then you work them in the round, and I really liked the snowflake beads and buttons that they used on this one. Or you could make the Festive Star Garland by Annie Design Crochet. Each star is 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters, and the garland is about 45 inches or 114 centimeters long for this piece. This pattern uses basic stitches to create it in the round, and I really love the classic shape of this design. And you can block them and stiffen them as you like to hold their shape at the end. The next one is the mini crochet ball garland by Meg Made with Love. This one is perfect for scraps. Each ball is 3/4 inch in diameter, and you just need to use the single crochet, slip stitch, and single crochet 2 together to make the balls. They're made in the round, and you can even play around with thicker or thinner yarns to make them different sizes as you like. Next is the crochet bunting by Emma Leith. This one is made in the round, and I love how festive and fun it is with all the colors, and there are helpful pictures with this one on their blog. Next are the crochet triangles by Lazy Hobby Hopper. These are also made by working the triangles in the round and then joining the triangles together with some stitching. Then you make a band and connect the triangles to the band and decorate them with some embroidery. I really liked the folky festive vibes with this one, and you could even play around with that tassel design as you like. Or you could make the paper chain by Felted Button. These are just worked flat with half double crochet stitches, and then the buttons are added to be able to fasten and link the strips around each other. I thought this one was really clever, and you could even play around with adding some different fun and funky buttons for this. Next is the Granny Yarn Chain by Homemade at My Place. Each rectangle is worked in 3 rounds with double crochet, and each round uses a different color. And then it's just joined together using the join as you go method, which is also really detailed and explained in the blog post. Or you could make the Sophie bunting by Look at What I Made. For this garland, the maker made 9 large flowers, which measure 8 centimeters, and 11 small flowers, which measure 3 centimeters. Then just worked a chain row to connect it all together, and each flower is worked in the round. And I really love the flowy and kind of delicate nature of this pattern. Next is the flower garland by Hooked by Robin. And for this one, the flowers are worked in the round using basic stitches and then connected to a row of chains. This one's really beginner friendly and quick to work up, and it also has a YouTube tutorial for all of you out there who love a visual tutorial. And lastly, for garlands is the boho crochet garland by Whistlin' Ivy. For this one, they made 7 triangles, and the longest side of the triangle is 9 inches long. The triangles are worked in the round with double crochet, and it only uses 2 hanks of yarn. And I really liked the tassels on this one. It gives it a nice boho charm. Now I'll share some Christmas tree topper patterns. First is the Star Tree Topper by Kara Ingwerda. This one is amigurumi style and is stitched in the round, and then you work the little star points and make 2 panels, then stitch them together. Then you work those little cheeks in the round and embroider eyes on it. Next is a really intricate one, but I loved it. It's the Lacy Joyful Tree Topper by Yarnspirations. If you've been hanging out here for a while, you know that I love lacy designs, so when I saw this pattern, I had to add it to this collection. This one is definitely a bit more of an advanced level pattern of the bunch, and it has quite a few special stitches, including the cluster, treble, chain with a picot, and double crochet with a treble picot. The finished topper measures 10 inches across and 13.5 inches in height. And this one actually has a specific stiffening method that it suggests using, which is 1 part Epsom salt and 1 part water, and then just dissolving it and bringing it to a boil and then letting it cool and actually dipping this in that mixture. And I don't know, I've never really tried this method before, but now I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever tried this one before. I definitely want to try it now. Next is the Carolure Topper by Hooks and Habits. This one's more of a simple one using basic stitches to create it. First you create that head and the base, then make 2 arms and make the hair and the dress. Then you simply sew everything in place. And I really liked all the details on this one, all the little face details. And I thought this one could be cool to decorate and kind of customize the dress with a little bit of beads or something like that for some extra charm. And of course, I had to add an angel topper. Here's one by Cara Midas. First, you make the head and hair in the round, then the wings, trumpet, and crown by the row. I like the details with this one. It uses basic stitches, so it's also really beginner friendly. And for this one, with the halo and the wings, they actually used some golden memory wire, which I thought was quite clever because it'll keep the nice shape for this. And lastly, for toppers, you could make the Christmas Tree Star by Gary Studio. This one's worked in the round and uses basic stitches as well as the bobble stitch, so it's beginner friendly. You can use stuffing for this one or stuff it with scraps as you like. And this one has a really helpful diagram on how to create it. It's really nice and detailed. And I've been getting into reading diagrams lately. I find them really helpful. And someone actually commented in another video that they would love a video from me on how to read diagrams. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in this, and I'll definitely make one soon. First is the Christmas Cheer Tree Skirt by the Turtle Trunk. The skirt measures 22 inches from the center and 47 inches from edge to edge, so you can simply work more or less rows to alter it as you like. This pattern creates a hexagon shaped skirt and mainly uses the half double crochet stitch to create it, so it's beginner friendly and it's quite easy to customize. You could add some buttons or some ribbon to tie it around the tree with and just add to the presentation. Next is the Faux Fur Skirt by Knits and Knots by Amy. This pattern is made in rows so that there is a little slit in the skirt to slide onto the base of the tree with ease. It uses mainly the double crochet to create and super bulky yarn and a 20mm hook. So it'll definitely work up pretty quickly and give your tree a nice luxe look. There's also the Holly Jolly Tree Skirt by Left in Loops. This one measures 38 inches, so it's quite big, and this pattern is worked holding 2 strands of worsted weight yarn together. So because of this, it'll definitely work up quite quickly. Next is the Buffalo Plaid Skirt by MJ's Off the Hooks. This one measures 40 inches in diameter and mainly uses the double crochet to create. It also has a YouTube tutorial. It's also perfect if you're going for a nice kind of farmhouse-like aesthetic, and it has some matching ornaments that you can make to go with it to really perfect it. Or you can make the Popcorn Trimmed Tree Skirt by Yarnspirations. This is a nice big skirt at 50 inches or 127 centimeters in diameter. Unlike the others, it's worked in rows back and forth and uses the double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet stitch to create. Then you just finish it out by creating some pom-poms and then just tie them to the piece, so no sewing really needed here. And I thought with the stripes it had really a nice kind of classic vibe, and I really liked the colorway with this one. But what did you think of my collection of 50 Christmas tree decor patterns? If you liked it, please give this video a like and let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed any of these patterns or if you've made any of them yourself, as I'd love to know. I hope you continue to have a lovely holiday season leading up to Christmas and have some fun creating some charms to deck your halls with. Please subscribe to join me for more videos as I post them each week. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.